Welcome to the IonaHoops.com podcast with your host, Guy Flatico.
Greetings from Florida. It's Season 4, Episode 8 of the IonaHoops.com podcast, and I've been here at the Gulf Coast Showcase all week long. Things haven't quite gone as planned on this trip, but hey, it's all part of the process, and it's still only November. Long road to go, so let's see how it all plays out. Before we press on with recaps from Florida and previews of what's to come, we press a couple Iona Iotas your way.
Iotas.
Before we dive into the men, let's talk about the women's latest exploits on the court. The Lady Gaels got on the winning side of things with the victory over LIU, beating them 80-59, leading just 35-34 at the half. So a huge second half for the team. Petra Orbolova was 5 of 6 from 3, ended up with 17 points and 6 boards. Natalia Otmazuri was 14 points, 5 rebounds. Judith Gomez, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Sierra D'Angelo, 11 points, and Ella Fajardo had 9 points and 10 assists. The Lady Gaels shot 57% overall and from 3 in the game. Things did not go so well in their road trip to Florida for a 2-game set. The Lady Gaels lost 74-72 in overtime at Bethune-Cookman, despite what it was an absolute monster game from Sierra D'Angelo, which had 30 points, a career high, and 13 boards. And Ella Fajardo added 12 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And Lady Gaels also had 11 each from Missouri and Noah Givon. They followed that up with another tough loss at Stetson, 71-62. D'Angelo had 17 and 9 in that one. Fajardo had 15, Missouri 14, and Givon 11. Let's hope the Lady Gaels get back on the winning side of things next time out.
Iotas.
Well, by now you've heard all about the Gaels Nation Collective, NIL Collective out there. And now we have giving levels. Yes, there's actually levels where you can donate a certain amount each month and you get certain perks for your troubles of contributing to the collective. If you give up $10 a month, you are in the Fighting Maroon Club. You get a whole bunch of Gael swag, and you get entry into drawings for things like memorabilia, ticket upgrades, and other events and experiences. $50 a month gets you into the Celtic Club, which is everything you get in the Fighting Maroon package, plus Tobin Time. This is exclusive content that gives you access to the latest thoughts and ideas from Tobin Anderson, with the help of a humble podcaster you might all know well. The next level up is $100 a month. It's the Killian Club. That's everything in the Celtic Club, plus a ticket to the collective's semi-annual event, as well as a personalized welcome video from one of the athletes. And then we have $300 a month, the Gael Legends Club. That is everything in the Killian Club, plus an invite to a private event and an Iona home game. So stay tuned for more on all of that, and for Tobin Time with some wacko actually interviewing him. Anyway, thanks to all of you who have already stepped up and contributed to the collective. Let's keep it going because we know the impact it has on this program. Go to GaelsNation.com for more details about how to contribute. All right, let's recap all 3 games from the Gulf Coast Showcase, and we'll hear from Tobin Anderson after each one. You know, I did say many times during the offseason that this Iona team has the potential to be wildly erratic this year, especially early on, especially in the non-conference portion of the schedule. Well, while that's true, I don't think anyone saw what would happen against High Point. The Gaels watched their opponents smoke them from 3 early on, frustrate them all day long defensively, and the Gaels trailed all the way in this one by as many as 24 in falling 82-68 in the opener at the Gulf Coast Showcase. I mean, not much else to say here. Iona struggled in just about every facet of the game. The offense outside of Weza Panzo just couldn't get anything going. And that drained any energy to get the press going, invigorate the defensive end, just all of that. It was just a rough day. And it welcomed the debut of hashtag Ledge Life in New Rochelle for sure, just from what I've been reading on Twitter and on the Iona message board, just 3 games in. High Point shot 45% overall. but 43% from three. They made 12 of them and even hit 26 of 30 from the line. It was 17-5 High Point at the first media timeout of the game. And even when Iona got it to 8 early in the second half on a Panzo 3, the Gaels surrendered another big run, 12-0, and this one was done. So as I said, Panzo was solid. He had 18 points. He's really found the outside shot. And Jeremiah Quigley continues to surprise and impress us all. He had 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. It just wasn't there for Adon Tritu today. Coming in averaging more than 25 points per game, he finished with 0 field goals and just 5 points. And Greg Gordon had just 3. Like I said, just a rough day on the whole. Crumble it up, throw it away, don't even watch the video. And, with another game tomorrow against another surprise, as the other quarterfinal had itself an upset as Long Beach State lost to Illinois State. Just this is life in tournament play in this time of year. Anyway, rough day for the whole. Forget it. Let's start fresh tomorrow. And here's a brief clip of Tobin Anderson sharing his thoughts post-game.
Listen, we got to do 2 things, right? We got to play really hard, and we got to play how we play. And the idea we're going to press, we're going to play man-to-man defense, we're going to motion offense. We're not going to change what we do or change this or change that. So we know how we're going to play. We know how we're going to win. We got to learn how to do that. So there's 2 parts of the game. One is playing really hard, tough. And hard is like, my dad used to always get mad at me. He's like, what does playing hard mean? It means running back on defense. It means talking. It means having energy. It means sharing the ball, playing together, all that stuff, right? Scouting report, like no one know who can do what. And then you got to execute. So there's 2 parts. You can play as hard as you want to, but if you don't execute, you're gonna be in trouble. I thought from both those angles, we were not very good. As far as we didn't play super hard, definitely not as hard as they did, and our execution for how we want to play was not very good. I thought the press could have caused a major problem. I think we got 1 trap the first 10 or 12 minutes. We're kind of on our heels a little bit. I didn't quite get that. So it's got to get better. And it will. Well, it'd be nice if we get better in 24 hours, but it will get better.
Before this tournament, we talked about getting a shot at Long Beach State in the semis as they came into this event as one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to win it. Funny thing, no one told Illinois State, which took down LBSU right after we fell to High Point. So we get Long Beach after all, just not the way either team would have planned. This was a tight one throughout, with Long Beach surging ahead early on and Iona battling back to take a 1-point lead at halftime, then pushing the lead up to 8 early in the second half. But Long Beach controlled the latter stages of this one and made the plays late to close us out 80-76. The Gaels are still a work in progress, both ends of the floor, no question about it. The press showed signs, forcing 17 turnovers, but when the turns weren't there, the shots fell for Long Beach to the tune of 47% overall and 39% from 3. The offense, some mixed results as well. 43% overall, 24% from 3, just 1 of 12 from deep in the second half. And on top of that, a season-high 18 turnovers. Adon Tritu had a quiet start, but then got into the flow and led the Gaels with 17 points and 5 assists. And freshman Gene Aaron Gurin put up 16 in his best game as a Gael. Greg Gordon had his best game since Charleston with 12 points and 11 rebounds. Sultan Alawali had a great stretch in this one where he was so effective on the glass, blocking shots and finishing by the basket. He ended up with 11 points and 5 rebounds. Wes Panzo got lots of tries from 3, even made a big shot late to get us close, but missed late as well. He finished with 12 points on 4 of 14 shooting from 3. So this was a decent performance in terms of the energy level being better than it was against High Point, but still a lot of room for improvement on both ends as hashtag Ledge Life ramps up. Here's Tobin Anderson after the loss.
We did some good things. Guys played hard, harder than we have. So there was moments, obviously, but we got beat. No one wants to get beat. It stinks. So no moral victories. We're not. It's like we definitely played harder than yesterday. So I really like our team. I do. We're going to get there. We're absolutely 100% going to get there. Like to get there quicker. But there were some definite signs in it that there's more moments of us showing who we can be and how we can do things. And we're a tough bunch of guys. We're just not consistently playing as tough as we can all the time. But I love the squad. We're gonna be very, very good. We're gonna be very, very good. There's no doubt in my mind. But we need to get there hopefully. And I think tomorrow's a big game. I don't care what what play scheme it is, whatever it is. Like tomorrow for us is a very important. I mean, every game is important. You got a new team. We're learning together. There's not a game that's not very, very important for us to play how we play. We talked about two things before the game. We had to compete, and I guess it was yesterday too. Like compete and do what we do. Right? We definitely competed today, and we did more of what we do. It just wasn't consistent the whole way through.
Oh my gosh, what would happen if we lose to Buffalo? Should we fire Tobin? Sheesh. So glad the administration didn't have to make such a decision, as Iona dismantled the Bulls 89-64 to conclude the event in Florida. Now, Buffalo came out quite disinterested for sure, but Iona came out with quite a bit of fire in the belly to make sure that there was no chance of a letdown here. And this one was over in the blink of an eye, really. Not much to say. The offense really cooked in the first half, and the defense was relentless the entire game. The lead was 23 at the half. Everyone had a hand in this one. Weza Panzo was hot, 5 of 6 from 3 and putting up 20. Gordon even connected on a couple threes. He finished with 14. Aaron Gurin had 12. Tree2 had 11. Everyone who played scored with the exception of Terrell Williams, only played 4 minutes, and walk-on Rohan Chapali even saw time. Iona was lights out in the first half, 61% for the game, 52% overall, 53% overall from 3 as the Gaels made 13 threes on the day. The D had some fun as well. Buffalo shot only 42% for the game, 22 turnovers. Anyway, with the losses in the first 2 games, this is the result is just what the doctor ordered as #LedgeLife got the day off. Here's Panzo, Gordon, and Tobin on the win. All right. How's it feel to get out of here with a win after the way the last couple of days went?
It's definitely good for us after those 2 hard losses. We came together, so obviously, like a lot of teams wouldn't play as hard as we played in the 7th-place game, but we came together as a team, and we knew it was going to be better for our culture. So
yeah. Greg, it's good to see like what you guys are working on, how it's supposed to look in a game like this.
Right. It's great, you know. It's more so the fact is like execution has been one of the things we've been very inconsistent with, so we've had to like really tighten it up, and Tobin really got on our case about it. So to see it like go into full effect and like really make the other team turn the ball over like that, like it means a lot. So it looks really good.
Was for the game against High Point, I guess the energy wasn't there. Yeah. Any reason why? Can you guys put your finger on that as to what happens in the start of a game like that?
I think we weren't locked in as a whole. You could tell by our warm-ups that guys weren't talking, guys weren't bought in. So, like, today was a complete different, like, 180 turn. Everybody was locked in, talking, and that's the stuff that we need to do. Like, preparation wasn't good for us as a team.
I'd say piggybacking off of that was, you know, a 10-day stretch, no basketball, and you staying at a nice resort. You know, you can't help but just get distracted sometimes when you got a pool and a water slide. So we kind of didn't really prepare as we should have, you know, and that kind of really messed us up.
Okay. And for both of you now, you come out of this with a kind of a weird mix of 3 games coming up. You have this game against Colorado, and then you have MAAC games that like really matter. You know, like, how does this prepare you for that?
More so just, you know, we don't really want to underestimate anybody. So we don't want to go in there and say, okay, we put up a game against Colorado, we should easily beat the next MAAC opponent. It's more so like, you know, it's preparation, you know, just facing a team that's on a higher caliber, you know, a bigger conference, bigger stage. And we want to more so just soak what we can from that learning experience and hopefully come out with a dub and keep it rolling into MAAC play. You know, it's such a weird transition, but I just hope that we can really like keep our heads on our shoulders and execute.
Yeah, like you said, big thing, preparation. That's going to be a good opportunity for us to play a higher level team and big conference, and then come back to MAAC and just continue to play how we play.
How important is it to have 3 games in a row like this, where all the young guys got a lot of minutes, got a chance to play and get better and better? You guys have seen a lot of their growth.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is really important because it translates to the MAAC tournament as well. You're playing like 3 games in 3 days, so I think that was a good opportunity for us to get used to how the format is.
Yeah, it was fun. It was actually really fun seeing the younger guys play for me. You know, like, I mean, I don't really want to call them young guys, but they're young in age, but they step up big, you know, especially when we really like – we're not starting off really well. Like, they step up really big. You know, JQ, Gene, Dylan, they come in the game, and Sultan, they make a difference. and they come in there and they prove reason why. If you could start 10 people, you start the next 5 freshmen because they come out really strong, and we appreciate them for it, for real. So
they're also holding us accountable. Like, we haven't been doing our job as a whole, like the older guys, and they've been stepping up for us. So it's going to make us play better because we got to be in the same level together.
Yeah. I want to say the last 2 losses really, kind of showed us, I had a conversation with Wes, and I told him, let's set the standard and hold the standard. Let's not lower the standard or make exceptions for anybody just because, he's a cool team. Let's just hold each other accountable for everything. And the young guys, we told them, look, let's do it. And they've been holding us accountable, so they've been changing us. So.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank
you.
Right, when you're ready for an opening statement.
Yeah, happy to get a win. I thought our guys came out with great energy, played really well. I thought our preparation from yesterday after the loss, they came into film, they came into our room last night, very, I think grew up a little bit. They knew that they saw what we did. The effort yesterday was better than the effort on Monday, and that's what it's got to be all the time. And then I thought they approached this game the right way and came in and played really well. So I thought we were unselfish. I thought we shared the ball. We played great defense. Did a lot of good things. So, like anything, 3 games in 3 days, we're all learning about each other, learning about the team. I'm learning about the team. But I thought we got a lot better. I think a great experience for us. Obviously, we don't want to come down any place, go 1-2 and play the 11 a.m. I'm sick of these 11 a.m. games. So I'd like to not be in these games, but it is what it is. And there's 2 ways of approaching this. You can be all upset about what happened the first 2 games, and honestly, that's over. We have to move on, and we played well today. So we got better. I think the more games this team plays together, we will get better. And I thought our freshmen have been very good. I thought our older guys kind of led us today. Our older guys took charge, set a tone at the start of the game, and played well. So happy with our performance, happy with how we played. Overall, but I just think it's a work in progress. That's just what it is. And so we're going to go one day at a time and just try to get better.
I asked the guys when they were in here how important was for them to see what your vision was to kind of happen today, where everything was clicking on both sides and you were able to jump out on somebody. I presume you feel the same way. It was really important to see a result like this.
And even on, we've had that. It's it's going to be a roller coaster ride. It has to be. And I think even in my mind, I'm we'll be fine because the older guys will lead the freshmen until the freshmen are ready. But they're all in how we play in Iona basketball. They're all freshmen. They're all new, right? So we're all learning together. But I thought we showed moments at Charleston, moments against Long Beach State where I thought we controlled the game. You might watch that tape and we controlled the game and then kind of gave it away the last 5 minutes. So there's been signs of that. We were a little more consistent today. We'll get there. I thought guys like Greg Gordon, this is all new for Greg. Greg's a guy who came from JUCO. Sometimes I think he thinks we're speaking a different language as compared to how he's been coached before. And so to see him mature and how he's gotten better over the last 2 weeks has been good. And I think there's been major progress.
How much has these past 3 days been important for the development of the freshmen?
I think great. I think we're really good, really good. Like any freshman right there. They're up. I thought Sultan had a great last 2 days. Sultan was. And he's an unbelievable kid. I thought on Monday he did not come ready to play. Listen, no one came ready to play, and no one came ready to coach him. We were terrible on Monday, one through the whole crew, right? So, but I thought he bounced back, handled it well. Didn't play a lot on Monday. We benched him early. Was great yesterday. He played this Long Beach State kid yesterday who was a all-conference guy, started last year, good player, and he went toe-to-toe with that kid who actually went to Michigan and played well. Today I thought he was, again, he made a factor. He's a force out there. He was good. Our guards have been good. Saw some good signs of Dylan Saunders. Dylan can shoot it, so he becomes a weapon for us. And I thought this was a great week for him. Because we kind of got to the point hey, he might not be the best defender and he's not physically strong enough right now, but he also helps us because he can make shots, knows how to play, smart, he's tough. So he had a good week too. That was good for him too. And Bates did some good things today too. So we're playing that's 5 freshmen, fairly major minutes in these games. 3 for sure. Sultan, Gene, and JQ, and then Saunders and Bates are coming on. So I'm happy about that.
And then what's the mindset for a game like Colorado coming up?
Yeah, I mean, overall, if you wanted to evaluate the trip, the tournament's been great. The hotel's been great. Everybody's been nice. People are great down here. That's not a problem at all. But overall, you wouldn't feel great about what we did, right? But I do feel we've gotten better, so that's the most important thing, right? Be a great way to salvage the trip. You walk out of Colorado with a win, which will be hard. That'd be a great way to come back, and then obviously we know what's coming. We got the conference opener next Wednesday. We told you guys, listen, we told them this after Monday's game. We got to be a really good team by next Wednesday. However we get there, and then sometimes you have to go through some adversity and things like that. By next Wednesday, when we go home and it's going to be a quick turnaround, we got to be a very good team, and listen, big picture, we're missing. I don't know if he's our most valuable player, but he's our most important player who we're working with him, and we get videos of him getting healthy and stuff like that, and him doing rehab, and we miss. I mean, you'd be amazed by watching our walkthroughs or scout reports. Oz is our best talker. He's our best IQ guy. So all this, what's happening now with Sultan and Dylan and Isaac Bryce was good today, is only going to help us going forward as Oz comes back and gets healthy. So, and reality, him being out helps other guys, more of a leadership role, more of an experience role. Because listen, it's all new, But I mean, I told you this after the 2 losses. I like this team. They have a lot of potential, and I'm happy with what we did today. And I hope that'll get us going forward, But I've thought that way a couple times so far this year too. So we really can't take anything for granted, because I thought out of Charleston, okay, we got it. Whenever you think you got things figured out, you don't. So we'll stay on them until we get it rolling here. But we're not going to win a championship in November, but the goal is to win a championship in March, and we all know that. And that's the plan.
All right, it's time to switch gears now and preview our next 3 games at Colorado this Sunday, and then following that with 2 MAAC games, home versus Marist, and then at Fairfield. All right, coming out of the Gulf Coast Showcase, the Iona Gaels will play the 3 games. The first one will be our most daunting non-conference game. It'll be Sunday, the 26th at Colorado, number 18 in the country. We'll start off with that one. They have wins over Towson, Grambling State, Milwaukee, and Richmond, and lost in overtime to Florida State. Hey, I mean, this game is what it is. They've got all kinds of weapons. Key guys to watch. KJ Simpson is a 6'2" junior guard, 19 points, 5 rebounds a game, 41% from 3. 6'8" senior forward Tristan Da Silva, 15 points, 5 boards, 44% from 3, 54% from 2. 6'6" senior guard Javon Hadley, 10.7 rebounds. They've got other guys who are going to come in and be effective against us too. The whole team shoots 43% from 3 right now. This is an uphill game. We know that, especially with this early portion of the season, but it's a great test for Iona to see if we can elevate our game to match the opponent. But this is, again, it's an uphill game. You just hope that you go out and play really well and compete. But let's face it. I mean, this is a game we expected to lose when we first saw the schedule come out. Again, if you want to take some points out of this one, you want to see some improvement, you want to see the press have some sort of effect on them, you want to see the offense have some semblance of continuity and try to produce against an opponent of that level. The final score is going to be the final score, but you just want to see some growth from the team. It is what it is. So there's not much else to say really about that one. Just you go out and you hope you can shock the world, and great if you do, and if you don't, you hope you learn from it and you move on. We've already talked about you've seen lots of arguments on Twitter about what non-conference means for Iona right now. It's just in terms of getting better. This game falls into that category, but again, you don't want to go into this one and lose by 100 points either. But you also understand the level of opponent you're playing. As a fan, you have to understand that. I'm hoping that the fans do. So, again, this is an uphill game for sure. Especially coming out of the 3 games in the showcase, and then having the break for Thanksgiving. Just go out and you just play loose. Just hope your press is effective. You just get the guys minutes and just some experience in that kind of environment. against that level of talent and hope for the best. Then you come home and you get to finally play some MAAC games. You start off on the 29th against Marist. Marist is 2-2. They do play one more game at home against Bucknell before they come to visit us. They've won at Army and at UMBC, or neither one of those teams very good. They lost big at Binghamton, which is an okay team, and then they lost a tighter game at New Hampshire, which is a pretty good team as well. It's kind of a strange setup for the team. Max Allen is a 6'9" center, sophomore. He's averaging 17.5 points, 62% from the floor, 81% from the line. He is the primary weapon. Everything goes through him. But then the makeup after that is rather interesting. They have 7 players, averaging between 5.5 and 7 points per game. Super balanced, done playing a lot of guys. Their defense is still what they're doing, although their numbers on defense have not been tremendous thus far this year. But Allen is, of course, standing out in terms of scoring. He'll be a tough matchup for us inside, and we'll have to game plan for that. Again, balanced after that, but we do know of Isaiah Brickner. He had some injury troubles in the preseason that have kind of slowed down his start to the year. He's actually coming off the bench for Marist. We know what he can do. We saw it last year. He's a highlight dunker, and he'll make big plays for them. If there's anybody on that group of 7 that might try to elevate his game for us, it'll be somebody like Brickner. But so they're an interesting bunch. They don't shoot a ton of threes. Everything's attacking the rim, going through Allen inside. And then again, Dunn will cook up something on defense. And the way we've played offensively, I'm curious to see what he does to try to throw us off our games. So it's an important one though. This is the MAAC games. These ones matter. If you are one who believes that the non-conference, when you're in Iona right now in the state that we're in with a brand new roster and a brand new system, if you're thinking about it as this is a chance just to improve over the non-conference part of the schedule to get ready for league play. Now you're in league play. I mean, certainly you get a break after these 2 games and you get a few more non-conference games in. And again, I would not be expecting Oz Shema to be playing in either of these 3 games coming up. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not in the Iona locker room, so I don't know for sure, but I don't think so. But yeah, this is what you are working for. So, Dunn's going to have a game plan. We know he can do it. We'll have one, and we'll have something cooking for them too. But it's a game that'll be an important one because everybody wants to start off good in MAAC play. So you have to come out and do what you're supposed to do. And at home, you're supposed to win if you're in Iona. So that'll be one that will be tested for sure. And it'll be one, especially with Colorado right before it, that we'll have a focal point on. So I expect us to play well in a game in that setting. And then we follow that up with the game at Fairfield, which was looking rather daunting before the season started because the Stags on paper looked very, very good, but they've been anything but. They've had a lot of injuries that really, really got them off to a slow start. They've lost big at BC and at URI to open the season. They had a huge D3 win, which has kind of skewed their stats a little bit when I get to them in a bit. They lost also pretty comfortably Drexel. They played a little closer versus Queens in Philly as part of an event at Drexel. And they will host New Hampshire before coming to see us as well. They've had some chaos leading right before the start of the season. Jay Young out. Interim coach Chris Casey now running the show. So they've had some disarray for sure between that and the injuries. I don't expect them to solve all of their problems in the next couple of weeks when we play them on December 1st. Hey, again, league game on the road, never easy. So like I said, some of these numbers I'm about to cite for their averages are skewed by about a 50-point win against a D3 opponent. Senior guard 6'4" Bryson Goodine, 17 points per game, 4 rebounds, 47% from 3. 6'6" senior guard Lewis Bleachmore, St. Joe's transfer, 11.4 points, 5.4 boards. They're a surprising freshman, Peyton Smith, 6'10" forward. He's got 11.2 points, 5.6 boards per game. Caleb Fields missed some time. He was expected to be a key cog for them as well. He missed some time with an injury to start the year, just settling back in. He's a Again, 6'2" grad guard. He's averaging about 10 a game after sitting out for a bit to start the year. They still have two players missing from their front court. Most notably, a grad forward 6'8" Alexis Yetna from Seton Hall. He's expected to be one of the biggest impact transfers of the year. Not exactly sure when he's joining him, but it won't be on December 1st. I'm fairly certain. Also, they're missing Burma Sek, a forward out of New Mexico, who transferred. He's also expected to be an important player in their front court. So because of the missing bodies up front, they are a very perimeter-oriented bunch right now. More than 40% of all of their points have come from three. That's one of the highest rates in the country. So Iona's going to need to show some improvement in closeouts with that press. I know that's something they've been struggling in, and many fans have lamented too many open threes given up. So if there's a danger in that game, it would be us not closing out on threes, because that's what Fairfield's been living and dying with thus far. And mostly dying as they have 0 Division I wins at the moment. So again, road game, league game, Iona always circled on the calendar. There are no easy games on the road in the MAAC. It's just the way it is. So, but a chance, let's face it, you're at home for the first game, you're at a very struggling Fairfield team in the second game. There's a chance to get off to a 2-0 start in the MAAC. And it would be a great statement for Tobin to pull that off, given the struggles that we're seeing now in terms of just getting the guys to be on the same page a bit. So important games. And it's weird because you have Colorado, which in essence is a throwaway game. And then you have two really important games that you really want to start off 2-0 in the league. So very interesting 3-game set coming up, especially coming out of the Gold Coast event. Hey, we're going to have to see some growth, I think, before, or we're going to start seeing that hashtag of Ledge Life just take over. So, hey, let's see what happens and be positive, because we're building towards something. I posted something on Twitter during the Gold Coast tournament about how FDU did not get off to a great start in November under Tobin last year. They lost big to St. Peter's, which, remember, finished in like the 300s in net ratings. They also lost to Hartford, which is one of the worst Division I teams in the country last year. That was November, and of course by March they were winning NCAA Pig games by 20 and upsetting Purdue and putting losing by single digits to Florida Atlantic. So quite the different performance in just a few months' time. Will we see that kind of jump at Iona? Time will tell, but the next couple of games will help us either way get closer to that path. It's been a fun week in Florida. Thank you for listening in as we caught up on the Gulf Coast tournament. Didn't quite go the way we wanted it to go, but hey, it was a great event. I wish everybody listening a happy Thanksgiving, and as always, go Gaels.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the IonaHoops.com podcast. This podcast is a production of IonaHoops.com and its publisher Guy Filatico. The opinions shared during this podcast are those of Guy Filatico, IonaHoops.com, and any featured guests. This podcast is not affiliated with Iona University Athletics or the university itself. Thank you for supporting IonaHoops.com.